You all are still here. All my same doodles from like 5 years ago. You're all excited and hungry. Eat the popsicle. That's right there in front of you. You guys can have it. What is going on, everybody? It is Starkler coming back at you with another Toontown Rewritten video, and this is going to be a little discussion that I wanted to make on what it is like to make it to 140 Laff, which is the current max Laff in Toontown Rewritten in 2026. This is actually a sequel to a video that I made back in 2021 around the same time that had to do with reaching 137 Laff on another toon that I had called Master Tom Twinkleteeth. He's a yellow mouse that I used to play on long before I did with Ice Cube, and unbelievably, I have done it again. I have maxed out a second toon on Toontown Rewritten, and I never really thought that I would. And here's the thing, the game has changed a lot over time. I think it would just be fun and somewhat appropriate to just discuss what it's like to make it there again, what my personal journey was like, and just talking about, just like the state of the game and how much it's changed and what it's like to do it now versus what it was like back then. Now, before I actually discuss what it takes to get to 140 Laff, I think it would be nice for me to actually explain why I decided to go through with doing this again, because I'm not really sure how many people actually like to max out more than one toon, and for someone like me, I never thought I was going to do it twice. So there's actually 4 reasons why I decided to do this, and I'm just going to go through them real quick one by one. The first reason why I decided to level up Ice Cube to become 140 Laff is actually because he was intended to be my next main toon when I first started playing Toontown Rewritten, but then I had a change of heart, and the reason why is because I actually missed playing on my yellow mouse, which was my original main toon in Toontown Online, and I figured, you know what, if I started over on this same toon with the same look on Rewritten, then maybe there's that chance, like just that small off chance that maybe I could run into a few old friends that I knew from Toontown Online. And it turns out I was actually right, because I've actually become friends with like 5 or 6 people that I happen to simultaneously run into in game. And so I have no regrets doing this. I also missed playing on my yellow mouse, and I decided to make him become my main toon again before working on Ice Cube. The second reason why I decided to level up Ice Cube so much was actually because of the timing of it all, and that's because of the pandemic that was going on in 2020 and pretty much kind of died out in 2022. And also, I was busy with college work, and I actually graduated college during the pandemic. No one could really get jobs anywhere or do anything, so it kind of just gave me a lot of time to do whatever I wanted. And yeah, that's kind of the second reason. And then the third reason is because at the time, I did not have that good of a computer to run anything much, and so Toontown was one of the few games I could play. Now, I could play some other stuff like Minecraft or Grand Theft Auto 5. I could still play other games, but not like anywhere as good as Toontown Rewritten. And of course, when it comes to recording videos, that's also another thing that I could really do very little of, except for playing Toontown. You think about all the other reasons. You have the pandemic, I have all the free time in the world, and I have a bad computer, so I just figured, why not? Why not just level up another toon for fun? And then the fourth reason, and this is a more personal one, is actually because of you guys. The support that I have gotten when playing on this toon and making videos with Ice Cube has just been fantastic. I've never seen so many people be so kind, so loving, and just, just being so friendly. And, whenever I play on this toon, it's kind of hard to explain, but I don't know what the appeal is. People just like Ice Cube. People recognize him in game. I've had people actually comment on the toon's style and say that he looks cool. And the fact that he's become the mascot of this channel with my profile picture and channel banner being pictures of Ice Cube just goes to show that this was meant to be. So you know what? Even while I'm talking about this right now, it's kind of like I needed a toon that would be really strong that had tune-up, because my yellow mouse didn't have tune-up, so to have a toon that does have tune-up and is very high level, I think those are also good reasons why I decided to level up this toon as well. So anyways, that's just why I wanted to tell you why I decided to do this again. So now we get to actually talk about the actual 140 part and what it's like to actually make it there from start to finish. So I'm just going to jump right straight into it. So whenever you start a new toon on the game, everyone starts off with 15 Laff and level 1 gags. You start off with Throw and Squirt, both at level 1, and that's it. And from the moment you create your toon, your journey begins, you progress through each playground, you unlock new gag tracks, you get more tasks, you get more Laff, and you slowly become stronger. And eventually, once you reach the Brrrgh, you have to choose one gag track that will be your final gag track, and which one you're going to leave off. Now for me personally, whenever I was choosing my gag tracks, I always chose to go either trapless, dropless, or tune-upless. I've never left off lure or sound on any of the toons I've ever made because I feel like both of those gag tracks are actually very important, especially sound much later on. And lure is still pretty useful, but I don't think it's used as frequently as sound. But of course, with all the gags and the cogs and the UI changes to everything, I would say gags like lure are starting to become used a little bit more now because it just keeps changing more and more over time. But now I'm going to talk about the actual playgrounds. Now, for the playgrounds, I'm just going to kind of summon them all up into kind of like a short statement. I'm not going to go through like each and every one at a time, except I am going to talk about Donald's Dreamland and Clear Coast because there were some changes that were made to Donald's Dreamland and we still don't have Clear Coast yet. So anyways, like I said, you start off in Toontown Central, which I personally find Toontown Central to be like the most boring playground because everyone has to start off there. You're always there at the very beginning. Everything's super simple. And you're also very limited with what you can do because once you graduate to the next playground after that, you go to Donald's Dock, you go to Daisy Gardens. There's always that option to go back to these other playgrounds you graduated from, and you're capable of doing more than just what you did once you migrate to each one. But like, let's say if you're in Toontown Central and you try to go fight Cogs in Minnie's Melody Land, you can't really do that because you're too low of Laff. But anyways, you start in Toontown Central, then you do Donald's Dock, then there's Daisy Gardens, and then after that you go to Minnie's Melody Land, which is kind of like this softer in-between part where it's not really exciting or boring, you kind of just do stuff there. And then when you make it to the Brrrgh, you choose your last gag track. So the further you go through this tasking system, I would say it becomes more fun because you unlock more gags, you get room for more toon tasks, and you know, you kind of develop this game sense and you start to make more friends along the way and you just have a lot more fun. So I like the main task line. I think you get like 85 Laff or something from that, but that might have changed. I'm not too sure. It's a lot of fun, and Donald's Dreamland is a lot of fun too. So for Donald's Dreamland, the reason why I wanted to talk about it a little bit more is actually because of the timing of me making this, and that's because there was an update that came out to the game a couple weeks ago. I think it's like I don't know when this came up. It came out on June 27th, I believe, and it was called the Requested Update. For Donald's Dreamland in particular, they overhauled and revamped the task line, so there's like 50 plus, like it says over 50 new toon tasks that were added to this when I'm reading the blog post. And there's also gag XP toon tasks that help like once you do these toon tasks for fun, you graduate from Donald's Dreamland, you get to do these toon tasks that give you gag XP so you can level up your gags quicker. Once you graduate from Donald's Dreamland and you make it to over 100 Laff, you really should have all of your gags maxed. So, I mean, I know some people don't like the idea of being able to level up your gags quicker, but like I said, I can understand if you have like one or two gag tracks that are at like level 5 or level 6 that just need more time to get them to that final level. So I think it's okay to have that. And of course, the new toon tasks, I can't really talk about like the revamped ones, but I know that one change that was made that's a little controversial is that because of this new task revamp, um, oh yeah, you see the daylight cycle. Because of this task revamp, it's now confirmed that you can actually get access to finishing your cog disguises for both Lawbot and Bossbot, and you can go fight the CJ and the CEO while you're below 100 Laff. I think the minimum now is like 85 Laff or something, or like mid 80s for Laff points, which can be a huge problem for some people. I have seen a few people complain about it already. There was this Reddit post I saw where someone was really upset over this change, and they just didn't want to add anyone that was like below 100 Laff to any of these groups. So, you know what? I'm really not too sure what's going to happen or what the long-term effects are to this change, but to have tunes that could potentially be lower in Laff and possibly gags and a little bit with experience, that could probably be a bit problematic after some time. But yeah, that's just something I wanted to talk about because obviously Donald's Dreamland is such an important part of the task line because it gets you all set up for doing everything else. So yeah, just wanted to acknowledge that. Clear Coast. I am going to talk about this playground even though it hasn't come out yet because this has to do with the Laff point system because I know that there's going to be more Laff points that are going to come to Clear Coast. So here's the thing. It was first revealed in 2023 as a vacation resort themed playground, and we still have not gotten it yet, and now it's 2026. And with that new playground, I know that there's going to be more tasks. There's obviously going to be more Laff. Now, as far as more Laff goes, I'm not really too sure how much Laff they actually are intending to add to the max Laff. I'm assuming that it's probably going to be a minimum of like 5 and maybe like a maximum of 10 because I know that most of the other playgrounds offer like just 9 Laff, and then once you make it to Donald's Dreamland, I think it's like 39 Laff or something, or like it's a pretty high Laff increase when you go from all the other playgrounds to Donald's Dreamland. So I don't think they're going to add too many Laff points to this. I'm assuming the max Laff will probably go up to either 145 between that and 150. Or yeah, that makes sense. 145 and 150. I don't think they're going to push it too hard, but this is just more of a prediction. And then, of course, beyond Laff points, we know there's going to be new gags. And so, there's always going to be new challenges to the playground as well. So I'm sure the tasks are going to be very difficult. But they're also probably going to be very creative as well, just because of how much the game has been expanded on. But yeah, again, like I said, it's just a prediction. We don't have clear coasts yet. But come on, it's the summertime. I feel like I just needed to acknowledge the playground before it comes out. So anyways, we'll see what I said, if anything matches up, and we'll see if this video ages like fine wine or if it'll just age like milk sitting in the hot sun. So now we get to talk about the Sellbot task force. Now this is going to be interesting to talk about because back in 2021, there was no Sellbot task force. At the time, it was July when I made that video, and then I believe it came out on December 3rd of the same year. I was like 5 minutes of 5 minutes. So it was like 5 months before the Sellbot task force came out, so I never got to talk about that in my video that I made. But now I do, because not only have I maxed that out on my mouse to make it to 140 Laff on him, but I also did it on Ice Cube, and that's how I got to 140 Laff on this toon. So the Sellbot Task Force is a little mini playground, kind of like a mini playground, endgame expansion that you get to visit in Sellbot HQ, and you get to take on the Sellbot field offices, and you get to do all of this stamp questing and a couple other activities. You get to fight all the bosses again. You pick up packages, you go fishing, you do all sorts of crazy stuff, and it offers a few different things. For one, you get 3 more additional Laff points, which is what brought the 137 up to 140, which is nice. And then you could also earn yourself a second level 7 gag. And I chose to go with the Railroad on this toon because I have Organic Trap as it is. It feels good to just dish out a bunch of damage to all 4 cogs like that. Now, when I did it on my mouse, I chose to get 2 wedding cakes because I have Organic Throw on that toon. On top of that, there's also as far as like new rewards goes, there's the remote control, which is really cool. I got a lot of different remotes. You can do damage, you can do healing. So, that's just another thing to add on to the journey. You could stun cogs and make them damage other cogs, or you could have the cogs heal you. And it's just nice to have another like source of tune-up for toons that don't have tune-up. Now, I know it takes a lot to get these rewards. I don't even have that many remotes on me, so use them sparingly. But yeah, either way, the Sellbot Task Force, I could say a lot about it, but I personally don't find it to be that exciting. It doesn't bring forward a lot of new elements to the game besides the field offices and the remote controls. And of course, there's, being given a second level 7 gag at the end of it. I do think there is a lot of repetitiveness to it, having to take on the field offices over and over again, or in my case, when I was progressing through, not really doing the stamps, but getting the skill points, I just found a lot of tasks that were super easy to do that just involved fighting the VP over and over and over again until I finally got it done. So, you know what? Either way, the Sellbot Task Force gives you 3 more Laff points. It's not much, but it is something, and it is part of the game that I do still enjoy, but I'm not really too sure how many other people actually enjoy it. But you know what? It is what it is. I like the challenge, even if it's repetitive. So moving on from that, we are now going to talk about the under new management update and the cog department disguises that you get to level up with all 4 bosses. Now, what makes this exciting is that this is another thing that has drastically changed the way you level up and progress through all of your cog departments. Now, back then when I did it on my yellow mouse, I had to do it the old-fashioned way, just like everyone else, and you had to go and do all those factories, you had to do bullion mints, you had to do office Ds, and of course, those dreaded, terrible back nines that took so long to do. Now, here's the thing. When I maxed Ice Cube on all 4 cog departments, I did all of it before the under new management update came out. Each cog department will give you 5 Laff points for maxing it out completely when you make it to level 50, and then once you max it out, you're given the option if you want to upgrade to a 2.0 cog suit, that you get the version 2.0, and you get to choose your suit's appearance, and I think the progression towards getting there also takes a lot longer as well. So it's kind of like 2.0 maxing, like a real challenge for long-term toons. Now, I did max it out. I maxed out a 2.0 Sellbot suit on my yellow mouse, and it took like just a month for me to do that. So I got the slick suit on that toon and I had a good time. But as far as doing the base suits, I would say it's drastically gotten a lot quicker. It used to take so much longer to do all of the cog suits, getting your merits, getting your cog bucks, your jury notices, your stock options. It used to take a lot longer when you did those things like the back nines and, the bullion mints. But doing this under new management update drastically made that a lot better. You could just get it done so much quicker now. It's considerably less harder. I'd say the managers, I think they're pretty cool. I got to participate in the play tests, and I haven't really needed to do them in order to max anything out again. But I think that's going to change really soon because I'd actually like to start progressing my 2.0 cog suits on Ice Cube for fun. But either way, this update has just made it so much better. Something that took many months to do has now been probably cut in half to taking like about a fourth of that time to max all 4 cog departments than the way it used to be. So it's just kind of really straightforward. I like the new managers. I love the way they redid it. And I know some people really like Toontown for how it is, but the way the system used to be, Disney wanted people to stay on this game for as long as possible so that way they can make more money off it. But because Toontown Rewritten doesn't make any money off the game, we just want it to be less grindy and more fun. So either way, good job on the Toontown Rewritten team's part for making it less grindy, less repetitive, and more fun and fast for everyone else. Good job. Alright, so now that we've talked about everything as far as the main game goes, now I get to talk about the fun little bonus activities. Oh, and look at the timing of this. We'll get to talk about it while the Grand Prix is going on. So anyways, the 4 extra activities for now. Maybe there will be a 5th or a 6th one after Clear Coast comes out, but I'm not sure. But anyways, I'm going to go over these pretty quickly because they haven't changed a whole lot. So the first one is gardening. Now, gardening is really simple, easy, straightforward, and to the point. All you gotta do is plant 10 flowers in front of your house, water them, wait for them to grow, and then you pick them, and then you just rinse and repeat for like, I think it's like 3.5 to 4 months of like constant work every day. And then you'll get a grand total of, I think it's like 4 laugh points or something. I think it's 4 laugh points, isn't it? It's just been so long that I've lost track. I think yeah, I think it's 4 laugh points. I wasn't really paying attention to the actual laugh points you get from each one, but it's pretty easy to do. You know, you just need to stay consistent. And with the silly meter coming out, there is the speedy plant growth addition that can run for some time, which makes it so that the gardening only takes 6 hours for it to grow completely. So that time could just go by even faster. But I don't really have any complaints about gardening. I just think it takes a long time to do, but it's not really that hard. So yeah, that's pretty much it for gardening. So now we get to move on to golfing. Where is the golf section? Here it is. There's a bunch of trophies. And you know what? Golfing has not changed one bit, at least not really to my knowledge over the years since I last did this on my mouse. It's pretty easy. In my opinion, it's the most fun. Like just taking it easy, you know, just going and hanging out with friends in Chippendales, Acorn Acres, and just golfing. It's mini golf, it's fun. And I know that the trophy requirements are smaller from how Toontown Online's used to be. So that was something that got nerfed, I guess, to make it easier over time. And yeah, I don't really have anything else to say about it. You get 3 laugh points. That's pretty much it. I like golfing. It's easy. It's fun. It can be a little buggy sometimes, but I think they've kind of fixed it and patched it up over the years. But even then, I think the glitchiness kind of adds to the charm to it. So yeah, that's pretty much it for golfing. So now we get to move on to karts, racing, Goofy Speedway. I do not like it. Many years later, I still don't like it. I know that the kart mechanics have been updated a tiny bit to make it like more, what is it? Like, how do I talk about like steering or the movements of your cart? I don't even know what to say, but it's gotten a little bit better, but I still don't really like it. But again, it used to be different in Toontown Online. I think when it comes to the grand, like getting your races won and your races completed, it used to be a lot more back in the day. I can't remember what I said back in my first video, but I think it was significantly reduced by like 95%, whatever the requirements are to get those last racing trophies. But yeah, it wasn't too hard. Just took like a couple weeks of like constant work. And of course, I had more friends. I had people like Gia and Little Cat that were nice enough to help me get some of those wins, and even they needed wins too. So yeah, that's pretty much it for racing. I still don't like it. It's not really fun. It's not my thing, but it's okay for some other people, I guess. So now we get to finish this off with fishing. Oh my gosh, fishing. What do I have to say about fishing after so much time? Well, you know what? It's a good way to get jelly beans. Yeah, do I have anything else to say about it? No, but what I can say is that it has gotten a little bit better over the years. I still think it's boring. I think it's repetitive. A lot of players, including myself, dislike it. I think the Toontown Rewritten team knows that because they have updated the rarities and increased the probability of catching like I think it's like the last like 6 or 7 ultra rare, like the rarest fish. It used to be like a 0.01% chance of catching those fish, and they just keep making it easier and easier to catch all of them. Now, when I did it on Ice Cube, I got pretty lucky because I actually had the silly meter activating the fishing boost, which does two things now. It increases the chances of you catching the ultra rare fish, which is really nice. And then they also made it so that the little puddles, the shadows in the background, if you see those, they're like right above the explanation point, above Banana's head. When the silly meter's going off, those little shadows that sit in the water, not only are there more of them, but they're also a little bit bigger. So when you cast out your rod, it makes it a little bit easier to, wheel them in. And then also, what I have to say right now is that they updated fishing again, because with the requested update, they added in a feature that made it so that you could delete any unwanted fish from your bucket, so you don't have to like go and sell them. But the problem with that is that you don't get any jelly beans when you delete them. So you could easily go bankrupt if you just delete all of the fish too fast. So I recommend that you probably shouldn't delete them too much and try to get your jelly beans back. I got lucky on Ice Cube. I caught like 5 ultra rares in one day within like a 5-6 hour time period. So fishing wasn't as painful on Ice Cube. Yeah, so that is pretty much it. That is me discussing what it's like to make it to 140 Laff in 2026. I can't believe I actually did this again on a second toon. And you know what? I don't think I'll ever do this on a third toon, but what I will say is that if I start a playthrough of this game, which I probably will sooner than later, then if I run out of things to do, then it is something that I can do, and I can move beyond 140 Laff, and then who knows, maybe I'll make a third video talking about discussing the 145 Laff or 150 or whatever. Yeah, I just never thought I would do this again. I didn't think I would level up another toon through all of this. Now, when I made my other video back in 2021, I never really answered the question, like, is it worth it? Like, is it worth to get to 140 Laff? I kind of just left it up to the viewer's interpretation. If you're a casual player, then no, not really. I don't think it's worth it, but it's not that hard to do. I would say it's pretty easy. And for someone like me that makes so many videos on this toon, I know that whatever the future's going to throw at me, I know that it's good to get as many Laff points as I can, because I know that I need a strong toon that can just go up against any new bosses or anything that's intimidating, scary, whatever. It's Toontown. Whatever the challenge is that gets thrown at me, I gotta be there for it. I know this video is gonna be a little bit longer than the first one I made, but that's because there's more stuff that I have to talk about. But yeah, just wanted to express my gratitude to all of you guys for just showing all the love and support over the years for myself and this channel, because not only has this game changed a lot, but I've also changed a lot as a person. So, you guys have contributed to that. And I wasn't expecting the first video I made to get a bunch of views. It currently has like 6,000 something, and this video will probably get a couple thousand views too, because I know you guys love hearing me talk about stuff. We're at like 2,800 something, so that's really exciting, because once I make it to 3,000, I have a special giveaway plan, so feel free to like, subscribe, comment, say whatever you want to say. That's it. I got nothing else. But anyways, I'll see you guys when Clear Coast comes out. I'll see you guys in whatever I make next. And I just love you guys to death. Thank you guys so much for watching. Also, before we leave, I got one more thing I need to do. Let's do it. Let's do it right now. We're doing it. We're getting an upgrade. It's happening right here, right now. It's too bad you don't get any more Laff points from doing this, but I think it's just fun to go for completion. So there you have it. I'm gonna have fun fighting these bosses over and over again. It's gonna be one heck of a challenge.